You're less than 20 yards from the tower when the guard steps forward and demands to know your business. You notice that the soldier is wearing the red coat of a Duranese man-at-arms, and realize that you have reached the border of Duranor. You need to find some way of getting past him. You can either use the discipline of Sixth Sense, say you're a merchant on your way to Port Bax, offer him a bribe, or show him the seal of Hammerdale.
Well, let's use the Sixth Sense.
Right. You can sense that this guard is a loyal Duranese soldier. If you were to attempt to bribe him, he would be likely to consider it a grave insult and attack you. Do you wish to show him the seal of Hammerdale, or would you rather pretend to be a merchant?
Let's show him the seal.
Yeah, I think we should show the seal. Give an ear?
Yeah.
The guard stares at the magnificent ring in awe. The legend of the seal of Hammerdale is well known to the people of Duranor. It is said that of all the lost treasures of the Duranese, the seal of Hammerdale is one that they would not wish returned. The guard's anxious face shows he clearly recognizes the ring's dreadful significance. I will not hinder you in your urgent mission, but I cannot help you except to set you on the road for Port Bax. Continue on this forest path and you will come to a fork near a stunted oak tree. Take the left track. It's the quickest way. You thank the loyal guard and push on once more into the forest. A mile or so along the road, you come up to a fork and take the left track. It leads to a stone bridge across the Rime Rift. The waters of the Rime Rift are over 1 mile deep and up to 2 miles at its widest point. Near to the bridge, you find a signboard. Port Bax, 3 miles. You breathe a sigh of relief, for you should arrive there in under an hour.
Yeah, that's fine enough.
At dusk on the 10th day of your quest, you experience your first sight of the magnificent city of Port Bax. Like a diamond set in the green velvet shore, the towers of the city glimmer in the pale light of a waxing moon. To the north is the harbour and the formidable war fleet of the Duranese navy. To the east, beyond the moss-covered city walls, stretches the forest of Duranor. And there, on the crest of a hill, stands a castle tall and proud, the crowning glory of this beautiful port. You enter Port Bax through an unguarded gate in the green city wall, and make your way through the darkening streets towards the harbour. As you turn into a tree-lined avenue, you notice the wide stone steps of the domed building to your right. You stop to read the brass plate. City Hall. Despite the late hours, the main doors are open. If you wish, you can use the discipline of tracking now, but you don't have that, do you?
No.
Let me see. Let me see.
Well, in that case, you can either enter the City Hall or continue towards the harbour.
I'm sort of curious as to why the door would be open, so I'd say we investigate.
Maybe if there's some officials there, maybe we can find some way to help us towards the capital.
Give an ear?
Yeah, I say we go in and talk to the main door.
Just inside the main door sits a kindly old man with a long beard. He is studying a huge leather-bound book with rest on a lectern before him. He has not noticed you enter the city. Do you wish to ask him the way to the consulate of Summerlund, or would you rather try to find your own way there?
Well, let's
find
just
out
ask.
directions.
The consulate of Summerlund, he says in surprise, somewhat taken aback by his sudden appearance. Then recovering himself, he says, why, of course, it is in Allen Square, near the harbour. Turn right when you leave, and right again, at the end of the avenue. That will take you to the Red Gate. You'll need a red pass to enter, as the consulate is in the naval quadrant of the city. It is a restricted area. You ask the man how you can obtain a red pass. From the captain of the port watch, he says. You are obviously a stranger to Port Bax. There are few indeed that do not know the answer to that question. The port watchtower is at the end of the avenue, just as you turn from the Red Gate. You thank the old man and leave the city hall. At the end of the...
Okay, Rana, write those directions down.
Okay, let me see.
Cobra, just repeat them slowly so you can write them down properly.
Okay, let me see.
Well, the consulate is at Allen Square, and the watchtower is by the Red Gate.
And you have to turn what, and then turn what, and then turn what.
There was no direct directions. It's just... turn right when you leave and right again at the end of the avenue. That'll take you to the Red Gate.
Hold on. Turn right, then right again. And what next?
And then you're at the Red Gate and you find the...
Okay, fine.
At the end of the avenue, the cobbled street turns abruptly to the right. Opposite this point is a tall white stone building with the plaque above the door, saying Port Watchtower, Harbour Authority. You can see that the cobble street ends at a high stone wall. There's a large red gate in this wall and it's guarded by 2 soldiers. Beyond the gate you can make out the mast of ships moored in the harbour. Do you wish to enter the watchtower or to approach the red gate?
Watchtower, we need to be able to get in.
I suppose the rest of you agree.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You are standing in a large empty hall. Opposite are 2 doors, each with a brass sign above them. One's marked white passes, the other is marked red passes. Or you can just leave again.
Well,
Red
we need a red pass.
Right. You enter a large room full of ledgers and files. A man wearing the uniform of a Duranese naval officer is seated opposite at a large desk. He appears at you inquisitively from behind a huge book and says, "You must have been pressing business in the naval quadrant to apply for a red pass at this late hour. I shall need to see your access papers and proof of your commanding officer's authorization." You can try showing him the seal of Hamadal. Or if you have the necessary documents, you can show him that. Or if you have neither, you must leave.
Show him the seal.
Indeed, show him the seal. Give me near.
Oh, I'm just wondering if we have those documents, but I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah, the seal.
The man stares at the seal with a look of shocked dismay. Without saying a word, he gets up from his chair and beckons you to follow him up a flight of spiral stairs that leads to a domed chamber. Here you meet the captain of the port watch. He listens intently as you tell of the warned summoner and of your admission. "Issue a red pass immediately," he orders. "Top priority." You collect your red pass, leave the port watchtower, and hurry along the street towards the harbour guards. You get a red pass, which is a special item, so it doesn't take up any space.
I've replaced it with the code ticket because I think we had outlived that usefulness.
Right. One of the guards step forward and demands to see your pass. You can either use a white pass if you have it, a red pass, or you can leave.
We got a red pass.
The soldier salutes and allows you to pass through the red gate. You walk into an open square lit by the tall beacons lining the quayside. To your relief, you sight the marble pillars of the Summerland consulate and the familiar sun flag of your country flying above it in the fresh night breeze. As you climb the stone steps, you are recognized by the some lending guards on duty at the main door. They disappear inside and quickly return in the company of a tall grey-haired official. His anguished expression suddenly changed to a smile of joy as he beholds your ragged kite cloak and tunic. "Hope beyond hope! Thank the gods that you live, Kai Lord! The scant news that reached us from the west has caused us great alarm." You are ushered inside and taken immediately to the envoy of Summerland, Lord Lieutenant Rygar. Your first meeting with the Lord Lieutenant comes as something of a shock. You had perhaps half expected him to be a servile old man, as are the envoys of the southern lands that plague your king's court with their delegations. The man clad in a heavy chainmail standing before you is neither old nor servile. You are soon to learn that Lord Lieutenant Rygar is an exceptional man. Born of a some lending father and a Duranese mother, he has become something of a legend in the city. In the last decade, he has led an alliance of the nations to victory against the invading ice barbarians of Kalt. Wise in peace, fierce in war, you could not have wished for a better company on your quest for the Summersword. Rygar orders that a sumptuous meal be served. It is by far the best food you have tasted since the war began. During the feast, you recall the events that brought you to Port Bax and reflect on the daunting challenge that still lies before you. After the meal, Rygar sends for his physician who attends to your wound. His potions restore 6 endurance points, if you lost any.
No, we did not lose any in our fight because we did not fight the Helgas that time.
Then he advised you to sleep, for you are to leave with the Lord Lieutenant for Hamadal in the morning. Early next day, you are taken to an enclosed garden at the rear of the consulate, where Rygar and 3 of his best soldiers await you on horseback. They are to be your bodyguard and guide on the 230-mile ride to Hamadale. The street of Port Bax are just beginning to come to life as you ride through the town. Passing under the moss-covered city gates, you now feel confident that your mission will succeed. Roll a die.
There you go. Let's see. 7.
For 3 days and nights, you have followed the highway to the capital as it runs parallel to the river Duranon. The river valley is a wide belt of rich, cultivated land that climbs towards the Hamadal Mountains, one of the highest ranges in all of the Magna Mund. It is on the morning of the 14th day of your quest when 6 cloaked men appear at the edge of your camp. Lord Lieutenant Rygar is the first to draw his sword. With a voice of authority, he demands an explanation for the intrusion. In reply, they unsheath black swords. Riker shouts to his men to prepare for combat as the cloak strangers advance towards you. Do you wish to use this discipline of Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Your Kai sense reveals to you that the strangers are Helghast, fell captains of the Dark Lords. They have been sent from the Dark Lord city of Helgedad on a mission of assassination. They have the ability to take on the appearance of humans, and they are immune to normal weapons and mind blast. You turn to shout a warning to Riker as you run for the safety of the forest. So yeah, you got 6 of those dudes after you now.
Wonderful.
We had a company of bodyguards that right now might not really serve us anything more than meat shields, I am afraid.
Yeah, they're kind of like this world's version of the Nazguls, if you will.
Shit.
The forest drops away steeply at the edge of your campsite, and in your haste you trip and fall headlong through the trees, who, as you know, are your mortal enemy. Roll a die.
9.
You eventually come to a halt at the base of a huge fir tree. You try to stand, but the pain in your legs inside is so great that you collapse and lose consciousness. It is a sleep that will spare you the pain of the Helghast blades, but it's also a sleep from which there is no awakening. Your quest and your life end here. Rana, note to the list of
That was
failures.
the third time I died.
Yeah, Rana, list on the list note got beaten up by trees again.
Trees!
Now I'm going to write something completely different.
You know what the funny thing is? 9 is the only number that does anything different. That is kill you.
Uh-huh. But I said I have been writing felled by timber.
Yep.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
Well, I suppose
Oh.
I am to roll the dice again.
Yep.
2.
You come to rest face downward in a tangle of thick bracken. The ringing of steel and the horrible cries of the Helghast echo through the trees around you. Since some of you have seen Lord of the Rings, you can kind of imagine what they sound like.
Oh dear.
You are stunned and cannot move until a hand grabs your arm and pulls you upright. It is Riker. His face is bloodied and his armor is battered and charred. You must flee these demons, lone wolf. Strength
Well,
and steel will not avail us here.
Tell me
Is that-
something I don't know.
Sounds kind of like Gandalf right now. You glimpse
Yeah.
the silhouette of 6 Helghast on the forest road above. Their minds spent on the slaughter of Riker's men, they fail to see you both slip away under the cover of the wooded hillside.
Glorious. Just freaking glorious.
For 6 hours you run without rest. The Helghast are on the highway and you are forced to make your way through the steep and wooded foothills to avoid the risk of capture. Many times you feel that you cannot go on, that the pain and the fatigue are too much to bear. But each time you falter, you are spurred on by Riker. You marvel at his endurance, for he is not a young man, and he is clothed in the heavy armor of a some-lending knight. By nightfall, you reach the entrance to Tarnalin, the western tunnel through the Hammerdale Mountains. The 3 tunnels of Durinor were excavated during the age of the Black Moon, and each tunnel is over 40 miles long and passes through the huge circle of the Hammerdale Range to the capital. The tunnels provide the only access to the city. Riker sits beside you and takes some bread and meat from his pack. Eat this, lone wolf. You must sustain your strength for the journey to Hammerdale. For from here you must venture alone through the Tarnalin. I shall remain here and hold the enemy back for as long as I have the strength to fight. Do not argue. That your mission should succeed is the only thing that matters. If Riker is to hold up the Helghast, he will need a magic weapon, as his own sword is of no use against the creatures.
Do we have some kind of magical weapon where we...
Ew.
So, do you happen to have a magic spear on you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, hold on. We have a magical spear.
No.
Nope. You never pulled it out of the guy.
Yeah, I
Oh.
was about to question that we never really pulled it out of the guy because we never really fought him because we were revived and then did not make that
No, if
mistake.
you pulled out of the guy, we would have fought him, and we didn't.
Yep. So, you still have your Warhammer instead.
So, no, sorry, we do not have any magical weapons.
Well, you do not possess the magic spear. You bid Riker farewell and enter Tarnalin. Over 100 feet in height and width, the town runs to the capital on the far side of the Hammerdale Range and is lit by torches for its entire length. The highway run through the mountain is usually alive with the traffic of merchants to and from Port Bags. Yet now the entrance and interior are deserted except for an overturned fruit wagon. As you walk deeper into Tarnalin, a doubt nags at you. Had the Helghast arrived here first? And suddenly there's a picture.
Great.
Be right back. Yeah.
3 blind mice.
You have been walking for half an hour when you see a strange creature on top of a wagon in the road ahead. It is 2 feet high and resembles an overgrown marsh rat. You assume it's some sort of tunnel-dwelling rodent until they notice that it's wearing a splendid jacket of patched leather and carrying what appears to be a spear. As you get near, it suddenly turns to face you. Its whiskered nose is sniffing the air and its bright black eyes are peering into the gloom. It sees you and scampers off into the darkness of a smaller tunnel to your left. If you have the discipline of animal kinship, you can use it now. You don't, so you can either choose to follow the creature or ignore it.
Ignore it.
Okay, sounds risky, but yeah, ignore it.
I think we should follow it. But I guess I'm overruled, so...
Yeah,
But I thought we should continue down the tunnel, but we can follow it if you want to.
well, it is a giant rat in a way, so yeah. Okay. I'm getting sort of curious now. Maybe
So-
we should follow it.
So
I'm overruled. Okay.
You chase the furry creature as it hurries along a narrow, twisting passage for nearly 10 minutes and are about to give the chase when the passage opens out into a huge torch-like cavern. A stunning sight greets your eyes. The cavern houses an entire colony of these strange creatures, all busy sorting through and examining a vast pile of strange objects littering the center of the hall. You don't have animal kinship, so yeah. A creature much larger than the others and dressed in a magnificent robe of patchwork silk screams an order in their strange language. All the furry creatures arm themselves with spears and swords that look as if they have been crafted from broken wagon spokes and broom handles. With a strange battle cry that sounds like "Gish gish, nice gish!" they charge towards you. Your curiosity soon gives way to the realization that you must evade them or be trampled to death by the sheer weight of their numbers. You turn and sprint along the narrow corridor until the angry cries begin to fade. You reach the entrance to where the passage connects with the main tunnel and continue your journey from there. You've been walking along the desert tunnel for a further half hour when the highway splits in two. Left or right?
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, that one.
What
I
one?
don't know, right?
Let me see. I would say left, but yeah.
You know, we've
Linear?
spent quite some time on this, but fortunately it only takes a few minutes to upload these episodes.
Yeah.
Seriously, I checked it last time. It takes me like 4 or 5 minutes to upload an episode of this. It's so light.
I see.
But yeah, left or right?
Left.
Alright, Rana, you have a tiebreaker.
I say. Let me see. I am a bit in doubt which one we should take. But I will have to say left.
You go left.
My suggestion was that either we. Nah, never mind.
Ahead you can see a passenger wagon similar in design to those that use the coast roads of Ragadan. The horses have been cut free and it appears to be deserted. You notice the bodies of 3 soldiers lying beneath it. Their uniforms are heavily blood-stained. You can use your 6th sense now if you wish.
Do it.
Yep.
Your sense warns you that the wagon contains an evil presence. Do you wish to enter the wagon, or dash past it for safety, or run back to the junction?
Dash past it.
Dash
Yeah.
past it.
You're just past the wagon when you hear a noise behind you. Spinning around you scan the walls and ceiling, but you can see nothing in the gloom of the tunnel.
Keep
Suddenly, from out of the darkness with a blood-chilling cry, you find yourself staring into the glowing eyes of a Hellghast. As it tries to close its fingers around your throat, you scream in terror and fall to the ground. The hideous creature tears at your tunic, rending the cloth with its black claws. Hey, we got a pretty picture of one of the fellas.